Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of this podcast, Talking Triathlon. Sorry, I forgot the name for a moment there. Where Tim Ford, that's me, talks to that guy, James Bale, about the sport of triathlon. Jimbo, mate, I believe, if I'm correct, you have a bone to pick this week right off the bat. Something that's been bothering you.
What's been bothering me?
I don't know. You said you wanted to bring up something at the start of the show,
Oh,
so
yeah. How are you, mate? You well?
I, I actually I don't know if you noticed this, and people on YouTube might, but I woke up this morning, my eyes all swollen, so my face looks a
Oh,
bit
that's
weird.
a shame.
I don't know what it is. I
I
think I've got
hadn't
a bug in it.
noticed until you said it then. I hadn't noticed, so it can't be that. It's
So if it
probably a lot
starts,
more
if it starts
present
going
to
like
you
this,
than it is to everyone else.
by the end of the show, if I'm doing this, no, that's what it
Yeah.
is. So
Well, that's no good. Eye infections are no fun. Putting the cream in is the worst bit.
I haven't done that. I think it was just
Ah.
an allergic reaction, hopefully, to something. But yeah, other than that, all good. Yourself?
Yeah, really well, really well. I've had a period of illness, as you know, had that sort of coldy, fluey thing for a week. I'm still processing a cough every time I run at the moment, but managed to do a 22K trail run at the weekend with a couple of mates, which was good fun. Just took it fairly steady. Kind of coughed my way through the race, but got it done. Lots of elevation, 2K uphill at the end, which was brutal. And then I've been thinking over the weekend, as you said, I had something I wanted to bring
Yeah,
up. It's not something that's on my chest. It was just an idea I've had. I've been thinking over the weekend about how we could develop the podcast, how we could,
yeah.
move things forward. And I'm thinking it's an idea that I don't think any other podcast has ever had before. I was thinking we might be able to do some daily shows leading up to Kona. What do you think?
Mate, I actually don't know if you know this, but that's a sensitive topic at the moment in triathlon.
Well, I
Um,
don't think it's ever been done before in
mate,
any sport.
I'm worried we might be getting a bit of trouble for even suggesting the thing, to be honest. Because yeah, while it does seem like a very original idea, I don't know that it actually is.
Do you think it's an idea that we could, were we to do it, and were we, let's say, the first to do it, do you think with your legal mind on, it's an idea that we could, I don't know, trademark, copyright, make it ours, lose our shit if someone else was to do it afterwards, let's say?
Copyright's not something you proactively do. It occurs naturally when you are the first to do something, then a very specific trademark. I'm not sure you can trademark a frequency of anything, but I mean, I think that there's plenty of people like I don't know, I'm Talk or Bob Babbitt or others that might have a bone to pick
Or
with us,
any Tour de
mate.
France podcast ever.
Well, it's funny you
I
mentioned
mean,
because
I feel emotionally tied to this idea now, mate. And if it's something we go forward with, I'm going to probably get really upset if were anybody else to do it as well.
well, again, feel free just to maybe we'll debrief on that off air. But the other thing I wanted to get off my chest this week because I think when I asked if you had something, it was actually myself. Is um, I'm actually really distressed to find out there's another podcast that has the word talk in the title, and that's I don't know if anybody's heard of it. It's a podcast called I Am Talk, and I feel like that's yeah pretty inappropriate to be honest because we're
Yeah,
clearly
I mean, we
talking
we were the
triathlon.
first to have talk in the name, weren't we? In
I
the
know,
and
so
and as podcasting is the height of sporting media,
yeah.
you'd think there'd be a little bit more respect paid in this ecosystem than that.
I know. I mean, like, yeah, I just feel like, you know, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to, Bevan, John, mate, we're gonna have to chat next time we catch up. I'm gonna have to, I don't know, we have to settle this. But
But I
anyway,
mean, rather than dealing with it as a as an adult, a mature adult, probably best you just put a post on social media, no?
seems to be the way. I mean, I don't know. I
I
don't
would do
know.
that. I would go down that road if I was you.
We're
Probably
just,
the simplest and easiest approach.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, hopefully, I don't know, the sport will get to the point where maybe this isn't the sort of stuff that little shitty podcasts like Talking Triathlon seem to cover. But let's get in, fuck man, yeah. Patreon episode. I think we're gonna have plenty to unpack next time we talk.
Yeah, yeah. We'll flame on the Patreon episode.
Patreon.com// talking triathlon. It might be one you want to hear. Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing to be a triathlon podcast at the moment, to be honest. But
Sometimes you just like, oh, we do what we do for
I
the
mean,
fun
as
of what we do.
people know who listen, we are extremely serious. We've researched extremely hard. We put a lot of effort into, making sure that we have extensive show notes. And as the feedback we receive often says, we watch every single piece of triathlon content, media, race, the works.
It's just
We
reminded me to open my show notes that has you saying that.
we practice pronunciation of names and everything. This is a very, very, very professional endeavor. Jimbo, mate, it is nearly the Ironman World Championships. They are getting close. It has been tantalizing watching the post of all the people arriving on the Big Island, getting ready for what I think is going to be a very, very exciting race over the weekend. How are your excitement, not this weekend, next weekend, how are your excitement levels leading into Hawaii on the 11th of October? 11th? No.
Really
Yeah.
fucking high, mate. Do you need to do your little intro thing, or are we still in pre-intro mode at the
I think
moment?
the patreon.com/talking triathlon, get the bonus stuff, get on board,
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
done.
Nice. Yeah, my excitement levels are really fucking high for Kona, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
They're flying high. So much so that on Monday I randomly found myself just rewatching a few of the old races just on my as I went through the day, just had them on playing. And I watched the 1987 race, which I think is my favorite.
It's a good race.
It really is. It really is. Out of all of them, it's one of my favorites. So I watched that, and I've just been sort of getting in the Kona's the kind of race that doesn't inspire me most of the time because it's not there's nothing particularly inspiring about the course for me. It's not overly beautiful or exciting, but there is something about the weight of the history that comes with that race for our sport, as young as our sport is. It is rich in steeped in Kona lore, and yeah, I'm here for it, and I think this is going to be a really I mean, Nice was fantastic. It was maybe the best World Championships I've ever seen. I think the women's race has every opportunity to rival that. With the start list we've got, the opportunities we've got for different winners, how people are coming in form, I think we could see a really tantalizing race.
I've been thinking a lot about the Kona Nice thing because I have had I've been to both of them twice now, and I love them both for very different reasons, but I also dislike very different things about both places. And I've been trying to work out like kind of what would be my perfect situation. And I was thinking about it because the biggest frustration I have with Kona is that, and again, I'm sure a lot of our listeners have been there, but Kona is tiny. Like really, it is so little. Like it's a very little town, which means that, and it's a good thing as well. Like that means that when the race is on, it is Ironman. Like it's honestly like the expo is the whole town, right? It's crazy. Whereas Nice is the opposite, right? Where what I really enjoyed about Nice last time was you can get that experience if you go into the old town or around the race site. Like you get that Ironman energy, but when you want to sort of take a breather, you just go literally 2 blocks away, and there's no Ironman happening. So I was thinking, I guess my ideal situation for a world championship would be if you have the lead up to the world champs in Nice. So like that feeling where you can duck in and out, but then the 2 days of the race or the day before the race and the day of the race is Kona. And then afterwards, you go back to Nice. Like that would be my perfect situation because
And with them being
it's,
so close to each other, the logistics of that would be easy.
oh, of course, obviously. I mean, you just literally pick up, get a boat, attach it to
Yeah,
Hawaii, tow it across to the Costa Azul, and there we go. But
there
no,
you go.
I do feel like that there is, once you get to race weekend in Hawaii, you don't want to be anywhere else. And the fact that it is all in debt, like all consuming, is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. It is just like, I think the first time I went there, I was there 2 weeks before the race. And by the end of it, I was like, fucking hell, it's a lot. But yeah, I think I've said it so many times this year. This is my most anticipated race for the year. I think the start list is fire. Um, what we've seen Lucy Charles do, what we've seen Kat Matthews do, what we've seen Taylor Nib do, what we've seen Laura Phillip do, what we have even seen Chelsea
Mm.
Sodaro do. I saw that interview or that article about Chelsea Sodaro today, talking about her preparation of the changes she's made. Plus, there's other athletes that have, I think, flown under the radar a little bit, and you look at them and you start to pay attention. Like there's, I would say at this point, 6 or 7 athletes I think they could win it. Like that, I think one of 6 is probably going to win it. But then there's probably another 6 that could, and then the podium. There's 15 athletes who can make that podium, and it is just so exciting. And I think looking at the way that that field or those athletes, like their strengths and weaknesses, I suppose, Yeah, I feel like the dynamics and the way the race is going to unfold is going to be so fascinating and so I mean, we say this all the time, and it could just be an absolute, the gaps could be huge, and we could see Lucy Charles
Yeah,
off
it
the
could
front by
fizzle
10
out. I
minutes.
mean, and this tends to be what happens to us, doesn't it? We didn't overhype Nice going in, and Nice lit the touch paper like no race I've ever seen. And then we're massively hyping Kona going in, and it will probably just be a damp squib. But um, but we'll the chance for the race is 100% there. I'm really intrigued to see what Sky Munch does.
I was genuinely just thinking about that today because I know Sky's going to be there, and I mean, again, Sky is a friend of the show. I actually consider a friend of ours, to be honest. I really have a lot of love for Sky and her husband and their daughter. I actually interviewed. If you haven't checked it out, head over to my other podcast, The Endurers, where I interviewed Sky earlier this year. Yeah, it's her first race back. Qualified years ago, comes back, does this. It'll be pretty cool to see. But there's so many. The other thing about Kona, and we talk about the fact that there is this excitement, is the reason this race could end up being, as you said, a wet squib, is
Damp squib.
damp squid, wet, not moist. Is that those athletes probably feel the pressure too, and we know that that can often see athletes push the envelope a little too far. And what we always find out after a championship event is the niggles, the injuries, the sickness. We've joked in the past about the Kona bug, how it's crazy how many people seem to catch the Kona bug after the race, or they had they get sick. So that's the other thing that I'm always a little curious to see is where that is. But like, I mean, look, we're going to do a full preview next week, and I think we'll actually go through the proper start list next week. But I guess I just wanted to, as a bit of a chat with you this week about is like, who are the athletes that you're like, not the main contenders. I think everybody knows who they are, but who are those athletes that are racing this that you are actually like, I guess your wild cards? Who are the ones to watch for you?
A squib is a 19th century phrase for a firework, by the way, as well.
It's also a wizard born into a wizarding family that has no magic from Harry Potter. So there you
Oh, there you go. Probably, probably inspired by the no explosive firework. Um, uh, what's the word beginning with E?
go. Don't know.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Athletes that I'm really keen to watch, but are not on my top list of winners.
Mm.
I mean, I've already mentioned Sky Munch. I'm intrigued to see what she does after her what she's been up to the last few years. But Anne Reichman really turns my head, mate,
Yep.
in terms of like what I saw her do in Swansea and the results we've seen her get. I think she could have something to say here on this island. Let me just bring up rather than trying to stealth do it, I'm just going to bring up her PTO page because I think I want to have a quick look at some of her results of late. She was fourth in 70.3 Swansea, fourth in Hamburg, fifth in 70.3 Jeslo, and she won Ironman South Africa this year. I think she could come into this and be in that sort of top 10 to top five conversation without any drama. And
Can
I'm intrigued to see how that goes down.
can I ask you if you've got the page open to put in the name of the athlete I'm about to say? Because I'd like to get her results up.
Yeah,
Because an athlete that I think I'm very curious to see how she goes, and I feel like has
on the
sort
edge of
of
my seat here.
flown under the radar is Lisa. I can't. Is it Lisa Perterer? Perterer.
Yeah.
The so she came second. I know at T100 Singapore, and I think she was basically podiumed pretty much every race she's done this year. Did you have her list of
Ye-
results there?
Yeah, so she came second in T100 Singapore, third in Ironman Texas, sixth in Ironman 70.3 Pas Deux, second in Ironman Lake Placid, eighth in T100 London, and then second in Ironman 70.3 ZMC.
So one of the
So
things
it's a
I'm
consistent set of results. Obviously, T100 London was a bit of an anomaly, going down to eighth, sixth in a 70.3, but the rest have all been podiums.
Well, why I am quite keen is firstly short course athlete, I think three-time Olympian off the top of my head. But that Singapore race, where the gap was obviously very big to Kate Woff, but she ran through a number of athletes, like ran really well in the heat. Kona obviously being a very hot race. To me, this puts her on the, I wouldn't be surprised to see her podium. Like
I mean,
genuinely,
she's ranked 10th in the world, isn't she? So it's
yeah.
not too much of a long shot.
Come on, mate, give me. You could be like Tim, you brilliant. Nobody's even suggested that yet. What a
Well, I
left
mean,
of field
yeah.
pick.
Anna Reichman's top 30, so I've actually gone proper wild card there.
Okay. Do you
I
think
think Majestad Nielsen would be interesting to watch as well.
that's one of those athletes that every time she's on a start list, she has the potential to do something to me as well, though. There's
Yeah.
that list of athletes that you just, yeah, I constantly expect them to, not expect, I wouldn't be, how do I say it? I'm curious to see how they finish, I suppose, is the
There or thereabouts type
there or
athlete,
thereabouts.
kind of
Um,
someone that could very much be in that. She came 13th at Ironman Lake Placid. That was her last result, but second in Ironman 70.3 Res Friesland, DNFs in Ironman Lanzarote, sixth in 70.3 Jesselo, and fifth in Ironman South Africa. So she's floating about in those top 10 conversations, and you never know. The thing with Kona is it doesn't reflect always past results because it's such a unique environment. You can you can have a middling season, let's say, some across the world, and then if you are well suited to the Kona environment, you can turn up and have that race that no one's expecting.
yeah, mate, it's there's that Kona element, that X factor that you can be the whatever. There's still that
Yeah.
unpredictability of what happens in because it's the hottest place I've ever been in my life, and I've done a lot of racing and training in Asia and
I mean, is it hotter
Hawaii.
than places like, I mean, hottest places I've ever been in my life. I've been to, I mean, in terms of humidity
Yep,
and heat,
yep,
Singapore,
hotter,
I've spent a few days living in the Amazon and that was hot.
hotter than Singapore, hotter than Phuket, just as humid. Hot as it's just hot, man. It's just oppressive, hot, humid heat.
Sicily, I think, was probably the hottest I've ever been without the humidity. That was about 42.
Because Kona is humid. Like it's a humid, hot place. It's not a dry heat.
Yeah.
It is fucked. It's
I
like
mean, am I allowed to have India Lee as a kind of wild card, or is
well,
she just
it's
good
yeah.
and like so good that she could be there anyway?
This is where I'm at too, because I was going to mention India Lee because the other one that I wanted to bring up before we get to India Lee next, but the one I wanted to bring up, and I understand that she was what fourth last year in Nice, but I feel like we've not seen much of her this year, and that's Marjolaine Pierre. Because when I talk about those six athletes that I think are going to win this thing, I don't include her in that just because we're looking at, Kat Matthews, Laura Phillips, Chelsea Sodaro, maybe Lucy Charles-Barclay, Taylor Knibb, etc. Like, I don't include Marjolaine in there. I don't know. I feel like she's kind of been invisible this year, but I
I mean,
obviously,
she's third place at Victoria Gasteiz. I'm at Victoria Gasteiz. First place in the long distance championships. DNF Hamburg. First place at Ironman 73 Pays de ninth in Ironman 70.3 Valencia.
so they're not
So I mean,
real big races, I
no, they're
suppose.
not. She hasn't been like punching her mark on the uh,
Mm.
on the series. Um,
But she's been training with Lucy Charles because she's coached by Reese, and I just think that if you train with somebody, we've seen what Lucy's doing, and I imagine a lot of their sessions are very similar-ish.
yeah.
I I think that yeah, I mean again, fourth last year, so it's not like it's a huge long shot, but I just think based on this year, she has kind of floated under the radar a little bit. But
I mean, anything that gets her to unleash the hair, mate. I'm there for it. I
but
love
you
it
said
when the mane
yeah,
comes out.
we should get like L'Oreal to sponsor Marjolaine Pierre and Mika Newt. Those two together could do some really good hairs. Oh, and James Bale, obviously. You'd be the third one.
Oh
You'd be
yeah,
like,
yeah. My I don't think my shampoo sponsor is renewing this year. Apparently, my results haven't been what they expected.
error is everything, Jimbo. So, um,
Yeah.
but
So India,
yeah,
India.
so excited to see what she does here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's obviously not. I think it's cheating putting her in the. Oh, I think India Lee might sneak into a good result because obviously she's India Lee and she's got good results. She's proven that she can win races. So it's not
Well,
But
let's
I
exclude her
also
then.
think,
Let's
hey,
just exclude her then. India, you're
no,
too
no, but I
good.
just
You're
think
too good.
she's not one of those people that comes into the rolls off the tongue when someone says, "Oh, who's going to win this race?" You think, "Ah, it's she's not front of mind for most people." But I think, and I've been guilty of choosing India maybe too many times,
Nah, I
because
disagree. I like it.
I'm such a fan of the way she races and watching her succeed. But she could come into this race and just
It's
have one of those days where
The heat worries me
it's
for
the
India,
India
I
Lee
think.
day.
Mate, can you actually make like just imagine if India won it? Like you'd just be, I fucking told you all, fuck you. Like, I mean, I'd
Yeah,
love it
yeah.
too. I love India Lee.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I would be hard to contain. Um, yeah, I would, man.
one, one more then, and again,
Be the double middle finger to everybody.
and again, it's not exactly an unknown athlete, but I feel like I'm sort of more talking about recency, right, compared to not basing their performances on, what they've done over the past, because this athlete is a former world champion, 70.3 distance, not Ironman, but it's Holly Lawrence.
Yes, coming in, she's obviously, I think she had a period of sort of not amazing results, but she's coming in with renewed vigor.
First
And,
Kona, I think.
yeah, coming off the back of that fifth place in San Francisco, sixth in Vancouver, T100, fifth in Ironman Lake Placid, a DNF in London, T100, but very consistent results since she's come back after her time off. And yeah, it would be great to see her do well.
Certainly
Imagine it.
would.
Imagine it. I mean, what year did she win the 70.3 Worlds? Was 29
2016.
2016? I thought it
I
was
was there.
2019.
I was there, mate. I was on course. I shared the course with her that day in Mooloolaba in Australia. She beat Daniela Reef.
And that was there was a point there where because she'd won the 70.3 Worlds and she'd beaten Daniela Reef that day, there was this year, 2 years afterwards where it was like, oh, Holly Lawrence is in the conversation up there with Daniela Reef. There's this kind of rivalry, and that kind of never took off. Um, she hasn't seen that kind of success since. But like you say, she hasn't raced Kona before. She's coming in with renewed vigor after a period of time off. Um, um, and now imagine if she hit Kona and was just like, you know what, this is my jam.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so there's definitely some athletes to watch on this start list. Let us know if you're watching on YouTube. Type them below. I'm pointing down. Who you think the wild cards are. And again, exclude the sort of obvious ones is what we tried to, even though half of ours were pretty obvious. Um, yeah, it'll be what I always love with this race is most of the time, and maybe not top three, but oh no, top three. You always have that like outsider. We talked about the men's race with Gustav won, Sam Laidlow. I don't think anybody probably expected to podium, finish second. There's always this outsider that just does something exceptional in Hawaii, it seems, and I'm fascinated to see who it'll be this year because the idea of the race I have in my head, I know it's not going to go that way. So, um, yeah, that's the most exciting part I think about Hawaii is how it's going to fail to meet your expectations, but not necessarily in a bad way. How it's
Mm.
not going to align with your vision of the race because I mean, yeah, I feel like we just had such a high standard. I didn't love the women's world champs last year. I feel like the race was a bit one-sided ultimately. But we've had some truly exceptional world championship events in recent times, and I fully expect this to
Yeah,
be.
I need something to happen in this Kona that is memorable because
Mm.
right now, every time I think about Ironman Kona, all I get is an image of Blumenfeld puking his guts out on the bike, and I can't get it out of my head. That
All
kind
I
of
get is
projectile vom is the first thing that pops into my mind, and I need something to dislodge that.
I just get that image of
Cannot
that
see it.
meme that I think we made in the Talking Triathlon group. It was Patrick Langer passing Sam Laidlow on the run, and it was like bike for show, run for dough. That one still makes me laugh. But we will have
Yeah.
new world champion in like 2 weeks, so cannot wait. Jimbo, mate, what do you want to turn your attention to next?
Jan Frodeno did something.
News headline. Well, obviously, a very serious media outlet. I mean, we are triathlon media, often, or Jimbo. Trademark pending, patent pending, copyright 2025. Jan Frodeno did something. Elaborate.
Jan Frodeno did something. Well, after the furore that he went and he was going to be given a starting place in the UTMB OCC, and then
XYZ, BTY.
he got a load of online pushback because how dare he be given a slot to a race where others have to qualify for. We did that discussion, so let's
We
not go
did.
down that rabbit hole again. He decided not to do that race, and he's now going to, well, he's done the Nice Côte d'Azur by UTMB, which is a 55-kilometer trail race um, along the along Nice, basically, all that loveliness down there. There's some really beautiful coastline down there, as you know. Um, and so he came 15th, mate. 15th man out of 1,000, no, 15th overall. No, 15th male. Dear Jesus Christ, brain. 15th male out of 1,378. Um, and he won his 40 to 44 age category, despite only being at the very end of that 40 to 44 age. I'm
Oh,
sure of all the results he's got in his life, that's the one that probably has pride of place over the mantelpiece. Um, he took 5 hours 27 minutes, but was an hour behind the winner, who was Miguel Benitez from Spain, who's 23, who clocked 2:14 for the Seville Marathon earlier this year.
James, I know for a fact. Now I'm going to have to talk to directly to like the one or two of our listeners this just happened to because I know you're out there and it might statistically I know this is true. Somebody who is listening to this podcast, James, just heard you say they probably weren't paying full attention. They're probably, I don't know, in the middle of a run and they've heard you say Jan Frodeno won his age group 40 to 44 and they've shit themselves. They've gone, they've gone, oh no, oh no, he's coming for me. He's coming for my Kona slot. Don't worry. He will not. He's not going to be racing age group 70.3 or Ironman anytime soon. So relax, take that deep breath out. Do not
Imagine,
worry.
imagine, imagine lining up, thinking, well, I'm finally old enough now that the field's thinned down and I might get my slot. I've been putting the work in. And then Jan Frodeno's, because he's in my age group right now.
I mean, you two are basically twins. Like it's
Yeah, he's, I would, I mean, I'm not going for any age group slots right now, but that's a friend of mine. I've got a little local triathlon WhatsApp group, all the people
yep.
in my local area who do triathlons. And I put a note in there the other day saying, anybody going to 70.3 on my Bayer, the world's, because I'm planning on being there. And one guy was like, oh, are you racing? And I was like, no, fuck no. I'm about 2 years worth of training that won't happen away from getting a 70.3 world slot. Anyway, I'm not concerned he's in my age group. Somebody out there is, but that concern has now taken itself from triathlon and wandered over to trail running because there will be somebody out there who is a trail runner who's in the 40 to 44 age group who's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, I love the other thought, right? Is it because one of the things I know when I was trying to qualify years ago, actually for 2016 Worlds, I would check the start list and I would like manically look up the results of everybody in my age group to sort of have a rough idea of where I was likely to place. And I therefore assume that there are probably similar psychopaths to myself in trail running. So let's say you're like an absolute frother for trail running and you see this guy in your age group called Jan Frodeno. So like with everyone else, you like Google them to see what comes up. Imagine if you've never heard him because you never follow triathlon. You Google Jan Frodeno, and it's like three-time Ironman world champion, Olympic gold medalist, two-time 70.3 world champion. You just go, oh fuck! Like man, that the thought of that amuses me so much.
Yeah, what was that old online Athlinks, wasn't it?
Athlinks, I think it still exists. I
Does
used
it
to
still
use the shit
exist?
out.
But
I
yeah,
think it might.
because you don't know he's a pro, you're not looking on the PTO website, you go on his Athlinks fucking profile.
Beijing Olympics first. Like what? Ironman Hawaii. First, you're like, age group? No, overall, you're like, what? What? What?
So he said after the race, well, it was a long time on my feet. Thanks to the UTMB World Series Nice for taking such good care of me, but I'll need a couple of days to use Arnold's famous "I'll be back" with true conviction. Well done to all competitors. A little homesick, so I'm already in the car to see the family. Um, and so yeah, Jan Frodeno is now an ultra runner, and what has happened, in my opinion, is instead of just the sport could have just quietly scratched that little itch and just given him that spot, and he'd have gone and done the thing, and then the sport probably would have heard from him again. By giving him all that online pushback, making him go through the qualification process, making him go and do this race, he's gonna have to go and do another and another to collect some stones and be in that ballot and all that. I think they might have lit a fire in this man because it's giving him a bigger opportunity to fall
You
in
know,
love with the sport.
what is the Michael Jordan thing? And I took it personally. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, and I took it personally. And before you know it, he's fucked everyone in ultra running too.
and James does the same thing. James will actually, all this talk of ultra run in my podcast, Talking Triathlon, the first podcast to have talk in the name. Um, I've decided I am going to pursue the stone. Every time I hear you say talk about the stones, I think of the fifth element, by the way. But he pursues it, gets there, and then you line up and it's Jan fucking Frodeno, and you're like, Jan? He's like, Jimbo?
Mate, shoulder to fucking shoulder, all the way. Attack on the final climb. That's my middle name.
I know
James
it
Attack
is.
on the final climb
Well,
Bale.
I was just in Zurich with the, Javier Gomez, and I did ask Javier about the swim, the swim, and he's
It's
like
probably
that.
the biggest swim of his life.
He did say that I underestimated James Bell that day, and I will never make that mistake again.
Has
So
never been pushed as hard in a swim before.
never, mate. I
Um,
think yeah, sub 15, 1K swimmer, but James Bell pushed him to the limits.
to the fucking limit.
To the limits. Jimbo, when we discussed what we were going to talk about this week on the show, and we were saying Slim Pickens, we both neglected a race that is happening this weekend. So we have two options, I think. We can either talk about WTCS Weihai that happened, or we can talk about Supertri Toulouse, which is also happening this
Oh, I
weekend.
forgot about Toulouse.
So did I. So where would you like to
Yeah.
go next?
Let's have a look. Let's think about Toulouse.
Let's
I mean, we
talk
got a
about.
couple of results to mention, haven't we? Obviously,
Do you want to do them
before because
first?
normally we do results before previews. So let's
Do it then.
just go through the results of a few races that took place. We had Ironman Wales, and that was won by it was a female pro only, women's pro only. Franziska Hoffman took the victory ahead of Rosie Wild, ahead of Kate Fimpkin.
Hmm.
Um, Franziska won it in 9:42:24,
Brutal course.
which is solid for that course because it's a brutal course, and I know some people who were out officiating that day, um, and yeah, hard day out is Ironman Wales, one of the best races one of the best Ironman in my opinion, mainly because of the way all the locals gather around at the start of the swim, and before the swim they sing the Welsh national anthem, which has real gravitas to it and adds a haunting element to the start of that race, and I love that for Wales. I wish it was a Pro Series race. I wish it was broadcast. I wish that they had both a men's and a women's field and made it into a Pro Series race. I mean, Swansea's amazing. I love the 70.3 there, but make Tenby a Pro Series race, please, Ironman, because they do listen and obviously they hang on every word that we say.
Well, they made New Zealand one off our recommendation, so there's obviously that power there.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. And then we also had Ironman Chattanooga this weekend, which I was paying close attention to, as you
I
can
wonder why.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the return of Rasmus Svenningsson. Really, I mean, he'd done a race previously, but it was only a swim
South
bike,
Africa?
just to test
Yep.
the legs, and he didn't finish. He barely started the run. It was just and that was the plan because he's had a year of injury, massive issues with his shins and stuff. So this was his first race back. He was going in feeling confident. All of the numbers were looking good, and he went out there with Jesper Svensson, and they kept it controlled. And he executed a solid victory. When it was an actual race. This was a race while I was watching the tracker fairly religiously. This was a race I do wish was broadcast because we had an actual race on our hands. Rasmus took the win in 7:34.27 ahead of Cam Worth in 7:35.49 ahead of Trevor Foley in 7:36.32. And those three actually put a race in. It's difficult to really report on the race because I was watching it via the tracker and you only get updated intervals, so it's hard to tell where the passes were made. But Rasmus tells me that he knew he was slowing down at the end of that run. On the tracker, you could see the four athletes behind him were all going faster than he was going into the final K, and he had about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And so it was looking like it was going to be tight. But then the next tracker update came, and Rasmus had upped his pace, and they were all running significantly faster. So it wasn't a huge, it wasn't as tight as I thought it was going to be at the end. But well done to Rasmus for taking that win.
I think the Rasmus thing is also relevant because I know in the past, like Rasmus on paper is an athlete that these sort of results seem sort of like he's an athlete that deserves to win these races. And I know that there's been, I know that Joe on his old podcast used to always talk about him being a bit of the Terminator and doing too much in that lead up to the like doing these huge sessions in the week before a race and stuff. We know Rasmus has made some changes to coaches and things like that over the last year as well. So this is probably his first real performance with the new coaching. And I think it just shows whatever those changes are seems to have worked because you're right. This is a very strong performance, not just a super strong bike performance that sort of holds on. Like you said, it was an actual race. So
Yeah,
good
the
to see.
ability to up his pace at the end and take that win. Um, because I know Rasmus well. Um, Obviously I work with Rasmus, but I was concerned that he maybe had overbiked it and then was going to fade on the run. Didn't fade on the run. He's feeling positive. Um, Rasmus is a very thoughtful man.
Swedish.
Yeah, he thinks about a lot about what he's doing and the impact of his training and his racing. He's an intelligent guy, so for him to be able to get his head in the right place and execute this kind of result is big. And it also bagged his Kona slot. So that's off his plate now, and he can do the races he want to do and really focus on that Kona performance next year. It also bagged a Kona slot for Cam Worth, who was
Was it
who
just
was
two?
sixth, I think. Yeah, there was only two
So
slots.
Foley didn't get one. Wow.
Foley didn't get one, yeah.
It's exciting. Cam Worth
And
again,
on
2 weeks after Nice as well. So mate, the guy's a machine.
yeah, so on the women's side, Anna Pabinger took the win ahead of Jodie Robertson, ahead of Daniela Fatu. Anna won in 8:38.55.
Cool.
Difficult to say much about that race because it wasn't
Tracks.
broadcast. You're watching on a tracker. So there you go. There are your results.
I just want to give one other result because it's probably not on your list, but we had the XTERRA World Championships over the weekend as well. And I know we actually got sent a fair few people sent us clips to the Talking Triathlon Instagram account. Mate, have you seen any of the footage of this race?
I haven't, no.
Mud bath, like actual mud bath. Like there's people slipping and sliding, covered in mud. It honestly looked horrific. But the winners are in first place we had Felix Forissier from France, 2:44.18. Second place, Jens Emil Sloth Nielsen from Denmark, 2:45.52. Great middle name, by the way. And in third place, Arthur Serrieres from France as well, 2:47.13. The women's, Loan Division from CHE. I don't actually know where that is. CHE. Do you know where that is?
Czech
Ch-
Republic?
Yeah, possibly.
No. Uh,
Anyway, Celine Billion from France, 3:19.30, and in third place, Barbara, Barbara Riveros from Chile, 3:22.40. Barbara. I've never. That's got to be a bad pronunciation for us, but um, yeah, X-Trail World Champs. Not a race that gets as much coverage as it probably deserves. Something Hayden Wild won a couple of years ago. So there you go. They're the results. You still looking up what CHE is or
Switzerland.
Switzerland?
Switzerland. Yeah.
What the fuck? That's confusing.
Yeah, the abbreviation is derived from the country's official name, the Federation Helvetica.
Well, there you go.
It's
I
the
suppose
Latin name for the
their
territory, which
currency is CHF, right? So that makes sense.
yeah, it does. Yeah, yeah. Turns out
Yeah.
we're both idiots.
I mean, that's known. It's a well-known
I should
fact.
know that. I've flown into Switzerland so many times. So I should know that. I should have known that. What an idiot.
Switzerland's pretty great, to be honest. Did I tell you recently how I went running and I could smell the chocolate because I ran past the Lindt factory?
In Devon, you can where I live, you can go running. You can smell the custard because the custard factory's so close. So Devon beats Switzerland all the time.
Chocolate's better than custard, mate. I think you'll find most people.
Yeah, Switzerland is an amazing place. A stunning scenery, beautiful place to run.
Again, I just wish it wasn't so fucking expensive. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's now turn our attention to WTCS Weihai. Happened over the weekend. Jimbo, did you get a chance to watch this racing?
I did not this weekend. I was really busy, and I believe the timescales, the timings were out of my loop of possibility.
Well, I missed the race live because it was on a Friday randomly, and it was because it's in China, the time zones are actually pretty similar to us. So I didn't get the opportunity to watch them live, but I have gone back and watched the replays while I was sitting on the bike train over the weekend. So if you get the
Good
results
work.
up, I can talk because to be honest, it was not the most exciting racing, but there was still some great results.
Yeah, on the women's side, Beth Potter took the win ahead of Lisa Tersch, ahead of Taja Newbert, ahead of Tyler Spivey in fourth.
hmm
Taylor
So
back to fourth place.
basically, huge grip on the bike. The course was actually quite good. It was to be honest, Waihi looks like an amazing place for a race because the facility they were saying it's this brand new state of the art sports facility that it's like all sports, but it's this huge complex. So they've got they swim in this water. Fucking hell, Tim. Obviously, they swim in this body of water, and then the race kind of went a bit through the city, but also through this complex that looked pretty state of the art. Um, Roads that looked immaculate, some actual like little climbs and lumps and things like that. But the women's race was very much kind of like a group, and then a group sort of got off the bike ahead, and then Beth Potter just similar to what Tyler Mislachuk did at that Supertri race in Chicago. Just she looked like a woman possessed and just ran like the fucking clappers. It was a big gap in the end, right? Like she won by a fairly substantial margin.
Yeah, 21 seconds.
Yeah. So
No,
again,
that was the run time overall. Sorry, overall time. Um, well, yeah, not still. Yeah, 18 seconds, 17, 16, 15, something like that.
WTCS and again slows down for the finish and stuff. Like it was pretty substantial, and it looked very quickly that it was going to be Beth Potter's race. Um, Suddenly changes things up a little bit for the grand final because Cassandra has missed a couple of races. Beth hadn't won a race. Beth was leading the series without winning. She's now won two, going into the grand final now in Wollongong in a couple of weeks. But the way Beth ran was like this is the Beth Potter we remember of a couple of years ago. So like I said, it wasn't the most entertaining race from an actual race point of view because it was sort of a bit of a done and done event once Beth got to the front. But there was still a lot of stuff happening in the mid pack, and I think the course. I still think the World Triathlon broadcast is surprisingly good at this point in time. The men's race was a little bit different, and why similar to I guess the women's race, there was a very large group at the front. But what I liked about it was that there was a whole bunch of different people trying to tax at different points. Like I think Morgan Pearson made a break at one point. Great to see Morgan Pearson, right in the front, but he made a break on the bike, and I think the gap got out to about 15 or 20 seconds, and then the group, managed to bring them back. But then with the last lap, Max Studer won, I think, was it Max Studer who won the men's race?
Max Studer won it ahead of Henry Graff, ahead of John Reed, ahead of Luke
Yeah,
William.
so Studer made a break, and I can't remember who was in the break pack with him, but they in that last lap, after shutting down the 15 to 20 second lead of Morgan Pearson, probably two laps before, these guys attacked and got 30 seconds over the group in one lap of the bike. Like it was actually kind of shocking how they did it. Like this gap just appeared out of nowhere, and I'm guessing that probably the chase pack or the first pack was like positioning for jostling for position dismounting, but. Yeah, these guys just got this gap, and then Studio just went for it. Like same thing, he just was gone, and again changes position. You saw Morgan Pearson ran up to a group, and then he got dropped. Um, Henry Graff was sort of at the front, then he dropped back, but came back up. John Reed ran through to catch up. So Studio was well up the road. Like the gap just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it was obvious he was going to win. First time he's ever podiumed a WTCS race. So to win his first ever podium, I thought was pretty great. And so they were saying during the broadcast, I haven't checked this, but it's the first Swiss man to ever win a WTCS event. So I thought that was pretty cool. But he did it so comfortably, like truly. But just that
24
dynamic,
seconds ahead of the rest.
yeah. And again, same thing, like walks the finish line basically. But the gap was up to 40 odd seconds, I think, at one point. But to see Morgan Pearson bridge up to those guys, Henry and John Reed, and I think there was somebody else off the top of my head, and then Morgan Pearson, who we all know is one of the best runners in the sport, then gets dropped, and then that gap starts to fall back. And what I liked about the run course in particular was there's so many opportunities we could see the athlete, like the athletes could see each other as well, like enough out and back sections. So it was very easy to eyeball what the gaps were, and it was crazy to see the way that just the gaps would come and then close. So I've really enjoyed, I think, every WTCS race this year I've watched, I've enjoyed. And I mean, Hauser's going into Wollongong, still the favorite. God, I hope he wins it. It would be so great for Matt.
Yeah, so
But
Matt Hauser's still leading the men's on with his 3,000 points ahead of Medel Hidalgo and ahead of Vasco Vilaça in third. On the women's side, Cassandra Bergrand and Beth Potter are tied on points, both sharing first place ahead of Jeanne Lehair, ahead of Lisa Tersch. Yeah, it's really interesting on the women's side with those two being so close.
what are the
Um,
points? What are their points? Do you have that there?
yeah, both have 2,925 point
I
zero
mean,
zero.
no decimal, no random decimal like 0.63
No,
or
no. Lisa, Jeanne Lehair has 2,716.45 in third. On the men's side, Hauser's winning with a 3,000 points, 0.00 ahead of Medel Hidalgo's on 2,780.63. Vasco Vilaça's on 2,775.00. So Hauser has a commanding lead. And yeah, I would love to see him win um, this title. I think he has executed this year brilliantly. I think he's picked his moment as well,
yeah,
where he could really go after that world title. And yeah, I'd
home
love to see
soil
it.
as
I've
well.
got a lot of time
On
on
a
Matt Hauser.
Yeah, a home grand final too. I think it would be pretty special. I'm going to go down and watch the WTCS race. I've
Oh yeah,
decided I'm not going to do T100 because I'm not going to stay. I'm not going to go down every day. So I'm going to watch the juniors race earlier in the week, and then I'm going to go back on the Sunday to watch WTCS. That's my plan for Wollongong because I want to see Hauser win a world title, and I want to see Tyler race. So that'll be good. But anybody who is listening who hasn't heard us gush over, or mostly me, over the short course this year, I really, really recommend jumping on and watching these races. Commentary still leaves a bit to be desired, but I do believe, James, that the commentators for WTCS are in fact Will McCloy and Belinda Granger. So that could be,
what for the grand final?
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
that could be quite good, right?
What makes you
Um,
believe that?
they've both told me that they're doing it.
Oh, so it's more less a belief, more a fact.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're doing it. I don't know if they've still got Trevor and or the other people just doing it, or if they're not flying them all the way to Australia for it. But yeah, Will and Belinda will be at the WTCS race and T100 and stuff. So I think
That's
that I don't
very
know about
cool.
T100. I don't know about T100. I didn't ask, but WTCS they'll be there. So that makes me excited.
Wollongong,
Hmm.
is it
Yep.
a place?
Yes, mate.
Yeah. Is it a nice place?
Yeah, yeah.
I just nothing about it rings a bell in my head.
So
I'd never heard of it,
it's a
and
beach.
I'm worried no one's going to go there.
It's a beach about an hour south of Sydney. So it's like Illawarra is the region. You've got Wollongong, you've got, Austinmere,
Okay, so
Corrimal, Thirroul,
it's not like
Fairy
a miles from fucking anywhere place.
No, so it kind of like goes, if you go Sydney and then south of Sydney, you've got Cronulla, the Shire, and then the next major beach area is Illawarra or Wollongong. So I've been to Wollongong hundreds. Yeah, it's nice. It used to be a steel mining area. BHP used to be based down there, and that's not there anymore. So it's sort of going through that like we need to find a new way forward sort of thing. But I mean, Australian beach, mate, you can't really go wrong. So. Yeah, it'll be good. And again, it's where the Wollongong Wizards. Do you remember the Wollongong Wizards? That's a bit of a blast from the
Of
past.
course I don't. the fuck is a Wollongong Wizard?
So it was the big triathlon training group back in the day. Gwen Jorgensen was there. It was
No, I don't remember that at all.
Jamie Jamie Hunt was it was like it was the triathlon squad in the world, and they were based in Wollongong.
Interesting.
So that's where a lot of triath like Tyler Mizachuk's like lots of people in triathlon. Wollongong is quite an iconic triathlon place in Australia. I think it was Chris
There you
McCormack's
go.
first ever triathlon. It's a triathlon I've done many times. So Wollongong has a very strong history of triathlon in Australia. I don't know what the support is going to be like just because I think most of the people who are going to be there are age groupers. But yeah, you'll see. It'll be good. The course is relatively flat, I think, but there's some little punchy climbs. If they go the way I think they're going, if it's the same course as the World Cup last year, it's a pretty little punchy. Even the run has got a few little bumps, so it could be quite a good course. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Game
Cool, cool,
on.
cool, 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 cool,
Game on.
cool.
How are
Super
we doing for
try.
time?
Got 10 minutes to go, mate.
Oh, mate.
Supertri Toulouse. Let's turn our attention to the best short course race in the world. Supertri Toulouse is on the worst time of the year. It's been a nightmare and I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I can imagine you would be. So Super Toulouse is on the 5th of October. Um, and it's the final race, isn't it?
It's the grand final.
It's the
One and a
grand
half
final. So
points.
going into this race,
Yeah.
um, everybody will be looking to solidify their lead or take a step up. Podium Racing are currently leading the team championship ahead of Crown, ahead of Brownie Racing, ahead of Stars and Stripes Racing. Um, what news? What news, mate, from the mark?
At this time of recording, Crown Racing doesn't have a full team, which is fun. We lost. So Charles Paquette crashed out in Supertri Jersey last weekend and has a concussion, so he's not able to race. Emma Jeffcoat is also not able to race, so we have found a French replacement for Charles. It was actually Vincent Louis who helped us find that athlete. And in the women's, we still do not have a fourth woman because so many athletes have already headed to Wollongong. So what I have learned through doing this, and mostly dealing with the French Federation, is that a lot of the federations have a time zone rule, which means for every hour of time change, you need to
Yeah,
travel a day. So
yeah.
Team GB's gone, the French have gone, most of the Americans have gone. So many athletes are already in Australia. So trying to actually find athletes for this race has been an absolute disaster. Like I honestly gave up and I was like, I don't know what I can't. We're three. Time recording is Wednesday. I don't know what's going to happen. So there might be three athletes racing for Crown. Who knows? We might find a fourth, but it's not looking good for Crown Racing this year, mate.
Do you care?
Yes, I'd care very, very deeply because I put a lot of effort in. I was talking with MG this week. So MG is the team manager who's on the ground, very fiery guy. If you watch the broadcast, and I was saying to him, I think I've recruited something like 23 athletes this season to race for Crown, when in theory you should only have to recruit eight. It has been diabolical. And not only that, but the number of athletes we've recruited that have either pulled out in the lead up or have gotten injured the morning of, or like it's not just finding the athletes to fill the thing, it's finding athletes, then having them pull out, then having to find a replace. Like we had two, again, I shall not name names, but we had two very high profile French athletes who were meant to race for us last weekend, and they told us without much notice that they won't be there, which was just the best. And yeah, it has been quite frustrating because the directive with Crown always is to try to win, and I felt like we had done quite a good job of like cobbling together what I thought was quite a strong team. But then as soon as some of those athletes that you sort of rely on to earn the points withdraw, it becomes and they leave such a big gap. Yeah, it's become increasingly difficult. So it's not been the best year. I don't expect to do too well this weekend, just based on what I've been saying, but I
Yeah,
do
I hadn't
still
really
enjoy it.
finished my thought. When I say do you care, I meant more about what's more important, the individual or the team
Uh,
in terms of
well,
standings.
professionally, like for us, the team,
Mm.
But I feel like in the individual, we have still got a shot. I think that George is going to have a big
Vasco's up
task.
there, isn't he, on the men's side of things?
I think Vasco could win the men's. I mean, I thought Vasco should have won. I
And
thought
on
he
the
should have won
women, you've
every
got Georgia
race.
Taylor Brown sitting in third. So both athletes, Vasco and Georgia Taylor Brown, sitting in third place.
I don't
Haunting
see.
podium, mate.
I don't see Georgia beating Jeanne Lehair just because Jeanne just has her number on the run. I think swim and bike they're comparable, and then Jeanne's running away from her. So I don't expect to see Jeanne lose. I mean, I thought Jeanne would win the whole thing this year, so I'm not surprised to see her do what she did. The men's race, Vasco should win it, but I've said that literally every single week. Uh, I would still, again, similar to what I said about WTCS earlier, and I know you'll back me on this one, Jimbo. Toulouse is the best course in triathlon. Like
Of
this,
course, best sausages.
best course, best sausages. And yeah, if you're a fan of triathlon, this is one. Like, I also think that's probably a factor because a lot of athletes didn't want to race it because it is such a technical kind of dodgy course. This is where we saw Hauser crash a couple of years ago. We've seen bikes get snapped. We've seen all sorts. This is where Hayden got that weird penalty where maybe Hayden
Mm.
and Leo had that weird thing happen. Jeanne had a similar thing. She got disqualified for touching her helmet strap or something a couple of years ago as well. So it's always a good race. And I still think the race in itself will be brilliant. And I am trying to shake the shackles of a bad work week around it. But I still am looking forward to sitting down and watching this race
Is
over the
Tyler
weekend.
racing?
He is not. He
No.
was that was somebody we were like desperate, like, mate, can you do it? But he's similar, going to America going to Australia to
Yeah.
get ready for the grand final and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's the best. I also want to say I really hope Charles Piquet's okay. He's got a concussion. I'm very happy to
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
that he's taking things seriously and doing things properly. The crash, I don't know if you've seen the footage, was horrific. He literally face planted the ground.
Yeah,
Um,
and a concussion, no matter how minor, is something you got to take very seriously.
yeah, it is. But you gonna watch it? You gonna watch Super Try?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. I love it. I love it. I love the fact that it's easy to watch and it's a condensed, I've got my main problem in life at the moment, amongst many things, is that I've got some friends visiting the weekend of Kona, and they're not triathletes, so
Oh,
that's a
mate.
concern for me because
Guess what
because I'm
we're
gonna be
doing on
like,
Sunday, guys? Buckle
thanks for
in.
coming, but I'm gonna be watching this for 7 hours, so I need to find a way around that. But I love the fact that Super Try is so easy to just consume and enjoy, and it's done.
Can I ask a question? Because I was having this discussion with somebody, I can't remember who the other day, but the big discussion in the recent years has been about triathlon as a broadcastable sport, triathlon as a broadcastable sport, triathlon as a broadcastable sport. And I think when we think of broadcastable sport, we often think about getting it on Eurosport or Fox Sports or ESPN, or like one of those big sporting channels. And I don't know about you, mate, because I know you are, while we are similar in age, you are still much older than me. You're a much more serious person than I am. But I don't feel like I really watch too much TV anymore. Like I predominantly watch YouTube. So do you think that we still need to see triathlon chasing the TV? And I still think we need the broadcast, but I mean, do you think it is still a necessity for triathlon to be successful for it to be on a sports channel? Or do you think that having it on YouTube is going to be enough because that is the direction that most broadcasting is going these days?
I don't watch any broadcast standard TV anymore. Everything I watch is either streaming or YouTube.
Yeah.
But the only thing I watch that makes me watch sort of live broadcast TV is sporting channels when there's a sport on that I need to watch
Okay.
that isn't on a streaming service or YouTube. So, and I think that's something that will stay in place because they know that is probably the one thing, live broadcast sport, that will bring an audience to those channels because there are so many fans of that sport. Triathlon ain't that because it doesn't bring that many eyes at this point. Um,
Mate, it only gets podcast covering it. Like,
yeah,
like
podcasts that
really.
hate each other
Correct.
covering it. Um, so I mean, there's a yes and no there. Yeah, triathlon should be on a sports broadcast channel because it would be so much easier to get sponsors because it would mean you'd have more eyes on it. Is it likely to happen? I mean, no.
No, I don't think
Um,
it is.
no, it's not. So yeah, there's pluses and minuses to both. I like the accessibility of watching Supertri on YouTube.
Same.
But I do, out of all of the channels that exist, all of the sports channels that exist, the only one I have a subscription to is Discovery Plus because all the cycling's on it. And I don't actually have a subscription to it. One of our patrons gave me their login.
Blah 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 blah. Don't listen. Don't listen, whoever you are out there. Rupert Murdoch or who? No, Disney. Bob Iger.
Yeah. Bob
No,
Arger's
Warner
always listening
Brothers.
to our podcast,
Discover
mate. He's well
Discovery's
into it.
Warner. So sorry, it's David
Oh, is it?
Zaslav. David
Oh,
Zaslav.
it's
Yeah,
Zaslav and yeah,
Zaslav. Not
James
not.
Gunn.
Yeah, he's DC, mate. He's
Yeah, yeah. Head of
Anyway. That's a
DC
different
Studios.
conversation, Jimbo. We are done for this week, mate. We have gotten through. Again, we didn't think we'd have that much to talk about this week. I think we've done pretty well, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Now, again, don't forget John Newsom, Bevan James Giles, if you're listening, I'm coming for you. How dare you put talk in the name of your podcast? We're clearly, even though we came second, it's ours. Watch your backs. Jimbo, if people want to find out more about Talking Triathlon, where do they need to go?
Oh shit, yeah. Um, if you want to support the show, jump on at patreon.com/talking triathlon. If you want to support Tim, he's at T414 on Instagram, at bale.james85 on Instagram. We are at Talking Triathlon on Insta. If you join the Patreon group, you get access to the monthly bonus episode, the social group, the WhatsApp group, which is growing, mate. We've got more members than ever in there, and I love it. If you're not a patron, which you should be, then jump onto YouTube. You can leave a comment under there. I really enjoy some of the interesting insights we get from the people who take the time to comment on YouTube, and we generally write back and say, "Cheers, mate. Appreciate it."
Exactly. Well, Jimbo, you've frozen for me. So let's wrap up there. Guys, thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.